What is going on, everybody? Non here, and the Pokemon Summer Slowdown has arrived. Whether you accept it or not, we are officially in summer. People tend to spend time and money on things other than Pokemon trading card games. Apparently, everything but Lorcana, because it's still going nuts. So, I want to talk about the way I think about the summer and really what my targets are. And, when we think about Pokemon, obviously, the the popular sets continue to move up. We see Prismatic Evolutions ETBs that have pushed back over 200. Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles pushing 95, 100, which is still too low. We see Ascended Heroes continuing to go up. Destin is doing what it's doing. But then we have a bunch of other sets that are out of favor right now. Chaos Rising, it's getting a little stale. Perfect Order, not the best reception because it was focused toward the video game. So when things slow down like this, what I like to do is really focus on A, flight to quality, and B, flight to garbage. So really nothing in the middle. And when I say flight to quality, I'm talking specialty sets. I think it was 9 months ago where I was able to pick up, around 1,000 Prismatic Evolution surprise boxes because they dumped everywhere. On Walmart, Target, just bought them from the open market. I think I paid $32 a pop, $31 a pop, something like that. And I look today, they're sitting at $75. And that's 9 months, 8 months, something like that time frame, which is absolutely ridiculous. So you have to look at the opportunity here as products start to drop. Now, we did see Destin Rivals ETBs get printed, and if the market dumps enough, it's probably a good opportunity to buy them. If the market doesn't dump at all, I would probably move towards something else because $200 for an ETB that's a year old, it's probably not the ideal risk reward. So where I want to start here is let's start on the block of Scarlet and Violet sets that rotate out in April of 2027. And the reason I want to do this is Twilight Masquerade ETBs got a massive reprint in the summer of 2025. So did Surging Sparks, late summer, I should say. And I did a bunch of videos screaming, you need to buy them now. And these things were up at $100. And look here, they're dead money. They're dead money for 4 months. And now all of a sudden they're moving back up. The booster boxes, by the way, are pushing $400. There's no reason why an ETB should be anywhere close to 110, other than the fact that there's just too much of it out there. Stellar Crown, it's a rare set. Temporal Forces, it's a rare set. When we think about it relative to other sets, there haven't been any reprints. There haven't been a whole lot of packs pushed out into tins or EX boxes. And quite honestly, between Temporal and Stellar, I think they're going to age very, very well. And now is the time to be a little opportunistic with what happens with these sets because there aren't a whole lot of people paying attention. Surging Sparks ETB cases, Twilight ETB cases, they're pushing $1,300. When I first started pounding the table on them, they were $720, $750 at the reprint. They have doubled since then. This is not a difficult game in this market as long as you're paying attention, and you really have to fight human nature. Everybody and their brother wants to buy Ascended Heroes. Ascended Heroes is a 5-alarm fire when it comes to the risk of reprints. Now, we know they're not printing them right now, but we're going to get more. So, best case, you make a couple percent. Worst case, it's dead money for the next 6 to 9 months. Not the worst thing in the world. But when we're talking about returns in the current market, we really have to take a look a little bit off the beaten path. So, obviously these 4 sets, they're going to rotate out next year. If you have the opportunity to buy anything good, I would highly recommend it. And look at this. Temporal ETB cases are $2,000. Surging Sparks and Twilight are just over 1,300. That should tell you how distorted the market has become because of the reprints of these two ETBs. So, moving on, and I want to hammer this one home for the umpteenth time. When Journey Together came out, the boxes, they were okay, 220, 230. The ETBs, they didn't do well. And the reason I say they didn't do well is because people got over the set very, very quickly. And then it was obviously followed by Destined Rivals, which, following any set with Destined Rivals is going to kind of take everybody's attention. But let's look at the ETBs. So these things came out and they tanked, and they were sitting at 75, 74. I think they were as low as 60. And then once everything starts to dry up, we're sitting at $140 per ETB. And again, this set came out in March of 2025. So if you would have bought this in the dip when there was the most amount of product on the market, you would have doubled your money and then some. And this is what I think a lot of folks in Pokemon, they just don't understand, because when the ETBs were selling for $70 or $68, whatever, it's because people didn't want them. And as we've seen now time and time again, that is when you buy these, because all of a sudden, once the price goes up, they come back into favor, and that's that. And that's what we saw with Twilight. That's what we saw with Surging. Now, albeit, probably not Twilight, but Surging was probably a little more well received when the set came out. But either way, same thing. These things, they were pushing $110. The market dumped. And then, for 5 months, you're just dead money. And that's okay, because seeing an opportunity when there's a massive reprint, or when there's a product that isn't that bad, that is out of print, or I should say out of favor, it creates an opportunity, because you really need to focus on doing things that other people aren't to get an edge in this market. Like if you're buying Destined Rivals or Ascended Heroes, you'll be fine in the long term. But over the next year and a half, I'm willing to bet your return is not going to be anywhere close to somebody who just buys a random batch or basket of other products. So moving on, again, Flight to Quality, 151 Prismatic Evolutions. If we get any other reprints of Prismatic, you just have to buy them. I mean, you look at the booster bundles. Here somewhere, the booster bundles are pushing what? Booster bundles are $97, $98, 151. Again, just assume this is a year in the future. 151 or $200 per booster bundle. If you can't look at this and say, you know what, I will love a double up of my money right now, you're out of your fucking mind. And these were a lot cheaper not so long ago. We got a pretty sizable reprint. I know we got a bunch of cases that we just sat on. You go back to December, you're $60, which is probably going to be a 4X by the time we hit next year at this time. So again, Flight to Quality, you have the best sets that are out there. Prismatic Evolutions is going to be an all-time banger. People are going to love it. You need to buy whatever you're comfortable with, but we're now pushing July of 2026. We are in the downward slope of sub 9 months before this rotates out. It's time. It really is. 151. I mean, look, these are super, super expensive, but as you start to see softness, whether it's booster bundles, ETBs, UPCs, SPCs, LMNOPs, whatever the fuck you want to call them, it's probably worth buying if the price point gets to the fact where you're like, okay, this is a really good deal. It's probably too good to turn down. Now, Now we're going to go into the journey together / well, let's eat some shitty product. Perfect Order. Perfect Order is not a bad set. In fact, when I show you the price of the single cards, you're going to say, holy shit, if this was a set in Scarlet Violet, it would probably be Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, probably be a top 3 set. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards over $60. You have the Meowth. 171 market price. I mean, half these prices are fucking Japanese garbage, which I can't stand on this website, but it is what it is. And we don't have more coming. We do have the booster boxes, Wave 2 coming at some point, most likely in July. But let me go back here. Look at this graph. Nobody gave a shit until they did. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. And again, if you can buy a case at sub $700, these cases are going to be $1,400 next year at this time. They just are. And they're going to sell. And if Shrouded Fable is $140 in ETB, you can damn well guarantee that Perfect Order is going to be $140 in ETB. You can buy as much of this as you want. And part of the challenge and I'll use the investing term, when you're investing in Pokemon in a bear or in a bull market, being able to acquire an unlimited quote unquote amount of product is very, very difficult because there's just not that much out there. Perfect Order ETBs, you can buy as much as you fucking want. Nobody's going to care. Same with Mega Evolutions. It's the exact same story. Now, granted, the ETBs are an extra $50 more, so $5 per ETB. But again, same thing with cards. Now, there's a lot of Greninjas out there. There are a lot selling. It's actually, let's see. Oh, it's damaged. Fucking don't care about that. I mean, you're still showing $265 per. It's moving. Not an issue there. But let's look at the top listed cards and see what the depth of the set is now that it's released. Best-selling. It's interesting. The gold's actually holding up very well. Okay, high to low. So you have 3 cards over $60. I would argue Perfect Order might be better value, especially saving extra $5 per ETB. I may reach out to some of the big boys tomorrow, or I should say Monday, and just start to buy some pallets. The pallets aren't that much. It's what, 360 ETBs on a pallet, which is like nothing. Yeah, Perfect Order. Again, you guys are going to look back in 6 months and say, why the fuck didn't I buy Perfect Order? Because it's going to start to move up, it's going to dry up, and everybody's going to want it. And then, just one last item here. It's going to be in the Magic front. We're going to look at Marvel. The set that everybody hated. There are 142 Commander deck displays on TCG Player, and I will tell you that my allocation and my Magic allocation is fairly large. Very large. I got about 45% of the number of Commander decks for Marvel that I got for Strixhaven. So there's no other wave coming. This is what it is. Everybody's shipped. Everybody's received. This isn't a disaster like Strixhaven where stuff doesn't show up for 6 weeks. It's all here. So between Jumpstart, which are Commander because there's actually Commander decks, in Avatar you see the Eternal Legal because there weren't actually Commander decks, so that's why the nomenclature is a little bit different. It is a massive imbalance, and at $250, these things are going to zoom. So anyway, guys, hopefully this is helpful. I know a lot of folks are going to be like, well, those are shitty products. I don't care. Fuck you. That's okay. That's the beauty of this industry. You can do whatever you want. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and have a good night.